Right, here we go. Pretending to be interesting. The first of many. My name's Vallejo, Pacific Northwest, just because I'm afraid people are going to confuse me with Vallejo, the ones in California. That's a place.
It's a real place.
This is my homie Sean Shredder, master of all guitar riffs and hand movements, as you saw. That was very mime-esque. This is a new, what are we doing? This is a podcast. We don't even have a name for it yet. What we're going to do is we're going to watch documentaries, and then we're going to talk about them, because that's fun as fuck to us.
Go over them.
Make
fun of them.
Make fun of them.
I don't care.
Bring it back around and talk it to death. But one thing we're definitely going to do is we're going to do different series. So the first series is going to be basketball. And we're going to start with this episode, which is This Magic Moment, which was a 30 for 30 ESPN production. I didn't take it. Okay, I didn't take it. I'm not a pirate. All credit to them. I didn't film it. And so yeah, we're going to talk about that. Now, I was going to ask you, Sean, starting off, who do you think was better on the team?
Who was better on the team?
Who's the best?
For sure, Shaq. Easy. Shaq had to be the one for sure. He's a problem maker all day.
Oh man.
I mean, as soon as he was gone, the team went under, and they had those magic years with him. So I think the biggest problem that Orlando was the money, but when you lowball somebody that early, then what do you expect? They're a free agent. We could cap out any salary.
Yeah.
Then
at the time,
that's a dumb move to just come so low.
Yeah. I felt like that was fucked up, but that wasn't the only fucked up thing. You could tell that they were a novice franchise because they immediately went, okay, well, let's try to save money. Shaq will understand. He'll understand that we're trying to keep Penny. No, he's the man.
Yeah, and he didn't want to go anywhere either.
No, he didn't want to go anywhere. No way. And the first thing he said was that, supposedly, was that he wanted to stay. But what I think was the craziest part is when they were in the game and he showed up late.
Yeah.
And they said they weren't going to play him. Or the miscommunication where the sideline reporter said that they weren't going to get played, and then they ended up playing him. But he came in, and there's all that, he's not going to play you, yada, 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 in their ear. And it was just all those little things that added up to being like, okay, so I'm not respected like I should be.
And then it shows up on TV. This person's getting 110 mil, this person's getting 100 mil, and he's the lowest paid one, is 80 million that they were offering him. Like, and he was the best. I think he was the best dude on the team. He was definitely he had all that power. He was still young, all the energy, and he's got so many years left in him. You're gonna disrespect him like that? Like, he clearly was a game changer when he went to the Lakers.
Yep.
And then three-peated.
Yep.
That was disgusting.
That was fucked up. That was really fucked up. I didn't even. I don't know. The way that he left. It seems like from the beginning, from what they were saying in the documentary, that the Leonard Armato, his agent, was trying to get him the fuck out of there from the get. Because he knew that there was way more marketing opportunities and way more money in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it seemed like Shaq had like priorities being in Orlando. Like, he really wanted to lay roots and stay there. For his agent, just seemed like he was a greedy little shit and wanted to get him out to L.A. and just, get in the movie business. Pretty much what he ended up doing. And becoming
that's exactly what happened.
A goddamn genie.
Well, he was in there already because he was doing he did the Chips movie, right as he came into the NBA. So for the people who haven't watched it, right, so we'll go over the events like we're watching the movie. So, the documentary. So it starts out that these guys get the NBA franchises, they decided to enter in a couple new ones. And everybody threw their fucking name in there to see if they could get one of the new franchises. And I think it was, I don't want to fuck it up, but I know for sure Miami and Orlando both got a team that year. And
Orlando was brand new.
Yeah.
Absolutely brand new.
Yeah.
They need a franchise to like boost the market and try to upsell Florida.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to do the best they could to get the best players and recruit the newest people, and they got in the draft and they get the number one pick.
Well, first they didn't get the number one pick because what happens when a new team is brought in, they do an expansion draft where what they do is they tell a team, okay, so you get 10 guys that are allowed to be locked in safe, or 8 guys. And then the other, however many, I think there's only 15 men to a roster maximum. So the rest of them, then they are open to being drafted into this expansion draft. So that's what happened there. And what I think, Not yet. So it took a couple years. I think they had 1 year, a couple. I don't remember how many years they had, but they had a year or 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know, until they got Shaq. And then they ended up getting the number 1 pick.
That's right.
And that was when Shaq was in there.
I think it was the first year they played. Is that when they came out and beat the fresh champ Pistons?
Yeah. So so they were in the exhibition game. It was preseason. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't even fucking. It wasn't even. It was a preseason game.
Preseason. We don't give a shit.
And they were so amped about it that they covered the Bad Boys Pistons when they came in the airplane. When they flew in, they covered their arrival at the airport. For a preseason game. Like, could you imagine somebody doing that in the NBA now? Like a preseason game? Like the Blazers over here fucking, oh, here come the New York Knicks, and they're all shaking hands and shit.
What the fuck are you doing?
It was funny because it showed Chuck Daly, and he was there, and he was like, hi, how are you doing? Like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck, Chuck?
But yeah, and then so after a while, they ended up getting the number 1 pick, and that was when Shaq was there. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you think was do you think that Shaq really wanted to go to Orlando?
Dude, I don't know, because in the documentary he never fully gave him a straight answer.
Yeah.
He kept tiptoeing around the idea of wanting to go to
the agent.
Yeah, and the agent kept speaking for him. It was kind of like, shut up, I got this. And then he would pretty much do all the deals for him. But it seemed like he was searching everywhere, of course, as he do as a free agent, especially back then with no cap and all that. Like, he didn't want to really settle down anywhere for sure. And then once he got a seat in there for a little while, oh yeah, I think I kind of like you here. And I don't know. I really don't know if he really wanted to go there, because you could see in his face. He's like, man, there's other options out there, and this is a brand new ass team. I'm getting muffled. This is bullshit.
Who the fuck?
Getting
Mickey Mouse is a bigger presence in Orlando than Shaq at the time.
On a fucking basketball team with Mickey Mouse?
For real.
This is bullshit.
Well, the thing with me was, you could tell the hesitance because he was there. They said that there was a reporter that followed him every time he was flying somewhere, and the reporter would ask him like the same questions, like, "Are you going to sign with the Magic?"
Can you count to 3?
Yeah. How many fingers am I holding up, Shaq?
Do that thing, that drop lip look. Yeah, give me that one again.
Give me that one, Shaq. But he never gave them like a legitimate answer. He said, "Oh, well, I like to like some bullshit, regular classic bullshit." He was a kid. He didn't know how to say, "I don't know yet." I would have just been like, "I don't fucking know. We'll see how the money is, and we'll come back to it." But I don't think he wanted to go there.
No, I don't think so
I don't think so at all. You could tell it from every remark that you heard from the agent or from Shaq before he was actually drafted and it was a done deal. Everything you saw, his body language when he was talking on camera, even draft night when he was there and they said, "Oh, Shaquille O'Neal," he was like this, and then he stood up and went like that. It was so fucking obvious. It was like, he don't fucking want to do that.
And the owners should have known from the negotiations from the beginning that he was already, not committed to Orlando anyways. So they renegotiated his contract.
Well, this was before he was in the beginning. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you already have the guy who was like, I don't know, and then his contract comes back up for resigning,
you have to. I see what you're saying.
You have to rethink that. Like,
coming back to
you didn't really want to be here in the first place. Maybe we should give him more money.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't fucking lowball him. So so I don't think he wanted to go there either. Whether it was him personally thinking, I don't want to be in Orlando, or if it was his agent just telling him, oh, all this. And even in the documentary, before all the shit popped off, before they traded Scott Skiles and all that shit, they were having problems because Shaq was partying in LA and shit.
Yeah.
You remember there was a fight between the point guard, one of the first point guards on the Orlando Magic, Scott Skiles, and Shaq, because Shaq showed up really fucked up to practice. Motherfucker had glasses on this big, all black tinted, of course, came in walking like fucking zombie, and Scott Skiles got pissed because he was slacking.
Scott tried to get in buck with him. He got fucked up too.
And it was funny the way that Shaq said it too. He was like, I dipped to the side and punched him, and you see Shaq's fist. And like I wanted to pause it. For real, I wanted to pause it and go up to the screen. And sure enough, his fucking fist was like this much of my head. Like, you don't want any of that shit. And Scott Skiles wasn't even that big.
Nope.
Yeah.
And they both got put in timeout in the bleachers, too.
Yeah, they were both there talking.
He was like, no, teacher said no, go sit down.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so he was definitely choosing between L.A. and Sticky Dick, Florida. Nobody wants to go there and get that muggy ass weather.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course he didn't want to sit there and fucking change his underwear all the time. Mud butt.
You had some bad experiences, son.
Dude, yeah.
Pampas.
Just in general, live in Washington, it's always damp here.
Man.
Damp and humid.
All I know is that when I saw little Scott Skiles say that he got hit, and before he didn't even have to say it, Scott Skiles was like, my neck and my head paid for that for like 8 weeks. He didn't even have to say it. I looked at him, I was like, the way he was reflecting on it, like he felt it. Like he was like,
the pain.
Right here, I got something wrong
and
right
it didn't
here.
even bother Shaq. He's like, I just got one. Boom.
Yeah, just a quick one.
And Scott's like, ow.
Now, I think another reason they should have been weary of treating him all the way up 100 is because they at the draft. So Shaq comes in, they win 20 extra games. They would go like 41 and 41, I think was what it was.
First year was 21. They won, right?
Yeah,
and
21 and the next
41.
one's 41. So he fucking practically doubles their score right out the bat. And they didn't make any other changes. That's pretty much all they had at the time with Shaq coming in. And then the next year is when shit got crazy and the Orlando Magic, they had the least chances out of all of the ping pong balls. There were 66 ping pong balls, and only one of them had the Magic logo on them in the lotto machine. And sure enough, the Magic get the first round pick, the very first pick. And there's Chris Webber, Sean, some tall motherfucker that looked like an alien.
He's in Space Jam.
Yeah, he's in Space Jam. And then Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
So at the draft, so let's back up real quick. So Penny Hardaway and Shaq, they did a movie called Blue Chips, and that's where Shaq saw Penny Hardaway play, and he decided he wanted to get them. He called management, told them to make it happen in the draft. They said, well, think about it. Now, at the draft, you remember his reaction when they said that they drafted Chris Webber
first, yep.
Now, what do you think that Shaq had the right to be that upset?
No, because he's
1 year, right?
Yeah.
You've been in there a year?
Dude, you can't expect a promotion at McDonald's when you've been there 3 weeks, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
Let's be fair, he's not working at McDonald's.
I sold most sandwiches this week. This is bullshit. I'm going home.
Well, even McDonald's, bro, if a clown-ass motherfucker came in and doubled their revenue for a certain amount, for whatever time, they'd be like, you could have whatever you want.
Probably, yeah.
They'd be like, free meals.
He's so young, his ego probably got a hold of him.
For sure.
And he just wanted that attaboy and like kind of that like respect that he deserved. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I'd probably be a little bit butthurt, but not that damn extent. Like, hey, motherfucker, I'm a millionaire. Chill.
What do you remember? What Shaq said in this? He didn't say it. This was obviously in the documentary. He was saying it to us, not as back then. So this is present time. Yeah.
To us
so it's present time. He said Jacob, Sean, Vallejo, Shredder. No, he says that he was disrespected. Now that's what I felt like. Okay, I get it. And looking back on it, with hindsight, after his illustrious career, yes, he had the right to say whatever the fuck he wanted.
He should have said, "Man, that was a bad choice," instead of "I feel disrespected."
Yeah, but I mean,
that was a bad. He should have said that was a bad choice, and we didn't fit together. We're gonna have trouble sharing the ball. I mean, express to whoever, but he didn't understand what was going on behind the scenes. Because what happened is that they got Chris Webber, and then they made a trade. And then they got, 3 first-round picks?
And Penny Hardaway.
They got Penny Hardaway, which is the one they wanted.
The player they wanted to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they ended up winning, but they didn't tell Shaq in the whole time what's going on. And it's right there, if I was Shaq, I'm like, oh, so these motherfuckers aren't going to be real with me. Maybe I start looking somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think the biggest downfall throughout this whole thing, the main thing that we keep coming back to is the ineptitude of the franchise. They didn't get, it doesn't seem like they got anybody who had been a veteran in the NBA, who had been in the back office, who had been running franchises, who has been, It didn't seem like they had anybody who had a lot of career in the NBA already to help guide them, to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You have to what are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
For instance, it would have been as easy as to tell Shaq, like, hey, yeah, for sure, don't say shit, but we're gonna get him, we're gonna flip it, we're gonna boom, boom, boom. That's something they could have done.
Keep your big guy happy.
They keep the big man happy. Especially when he
socks the fuck out of Scott.
Bro, I know he don't give a fuck. You see him
punch Scott
in the head, bro?
He's still feeling it.
And Scott's head was little too, so I swear he had hair before he got punched, and then it just started back and forth.
He punched a receding hairline immediately.
So Shaq. So they ended up they traded Chris Webber. They got Penny, and now they're off and running. Scott Skiles, he even says he knew that he was going to be replaced by Penny, and he's bringing him along. It only took, I think he said, half the season for them to switch it up and then have Penny starting at the point and then Scott coming off the bench.
Yeah, and that year they went from 41 to 57.
Is that what they did?
Right? Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll take your word for it. But they jumped.
Crazy, yeah.
They did jump for sure.
Oh, again.
And that's when they went to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, who was the team that they faced for the very first time?
Oh, it was Rockets.
No. That was the finals. I'm talking about the playoffs. Fuck, I don't remember. I don't remember who it was, but they lost, and that's not a big part of the story anyway. So they come back, and now it's the next season, and they ended up taking it way to the next level. So we'll skip ahead a little bit. These guys ended up making to the conference finals. We'll go semifinals, because in the semifinals, they met Michael Jordan without Horace Grant. Horace Grant switched teams. So now there's a little more storyline to it. Horace Grant, who was on the Bulls, is now on the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic and the Bulls are going off in the semifinals against each other.
And this is after Michael Jordan's return, and they never won a ring without Horace Grant.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like this bad juju shit. And Jordan came back wearing 45, and it was all in his head, oh, this is a bad number, bad juju, and they lost that first game.
Yeah.
Hard, too. And so... I mean, it wasn't that hard, but you got the ball
It was the way that it was. We're not talking about a loss as far as they got overwhelmed, and I'm talking about like one of those losses that hurts you in the gut, hurts you in the heart, where you fucking are up by 2, and then the motherfucker makes a 3 at the buzzer. You know, that kind of shit, just gut wrenching shit that makes you want to die. Like it was that kind of shit, and they ended up winning. And to be fair, my question for you is, do you think that had Michael Jordan even had one full season?
Oh, yes, I already know where you're going.
Just that full season, would they have done that?
Dude, no.
Would they have beaten them in the semis?
No, because Jordan would have had the tune-up. I mean, it only took, even that game, he was still killing it, and he was off. He was off his game. I mean... I don't think so. He was 17 games in the season. There's no way, man. It's Jordan. Yeah. He would have tuned it up, and then he probably would have got the anger sometime in the middle of the year. Some team would have pissed him off and like, motherfucker, and then would have brought it to the finals for sure. Or that was the semifinals, right?
Yeah, they were in the semis at the time.
He brought it to the semifinals, and the fact that he didn't even get into the finals his first year back, and then oh man, that pissed him off. Yeah. Course. I don't think
we may be fucking up some of these facts. We just watched it, but I smoke a lot of weed, and we were bullshitting the whole time. I don't remember. I remember they faced the Bulls, and then I think it was the Pacers next. But I'm not. I think the Pacers was the next year, right?
That was the next year.
So they did face Bulls in the conference finals, and then they went on. So now they beat Michael Jordan, who only had a 17-game season. He trained his body for baseball for the previous 2.5 years, whatever like that. He was training for baseball, which is a way different regiment, way different muscles, way different. He comes back, he has 17 games, he loses to this new Orlando Magic with Horace Grant on there. Now...
and then they picked up Horace Grant at the end of the game.
Yes.
Hold him in the air just like a big old fuck you. And that really struck deep with the Bulls.
And part of their game plan, the Bulls' game plan, they were doubling Penny and Shaq the whole time.
Leaving Grant right open.
And Horace Grant was the one who took over. He started making jumpers. He was getting fucking alley-oops, all kinds of shit. So he did. It was kind of funny because a big part of their team, the Bulls, moved over to this other team. And then he was a big part of their team in a way that... bigger than anybody else, because they had some veterans on there like Tree Rollins and shit, but they didn't have anybody with championship pedigree until Horace Grant came on.
He knew what it was like to be in the finals.
He knew what it was like to win championships. You know
that grit,
bro. I'm telling you,
that's an extra. It's an extra tank of gas that you need.
It's an extra dimension. Yeah. It's just like that level. You have won it on the best level, on the highest level. So you have some kind of extra knowledge, some kind of extra gear, some intangible thing.
I mean, me being in the finals personally 4 times in my career, I definitely know what it's like being mentally exhausted all the time. You
guys don't know this is actually Dennis Rodman.
I morphed again.
He went through the bleach. He was like, "Fuck dyeing my hair. I'm gonna dye my whole body."
I just got back from North Korea.
Yeah,
this is what they did to me.
I'm actually Kim Jong-un. New haircut. So anyway, so they go to the finals, and There they face Houston. Now this is the only year.
It was a stacked team.
The year before, it was Houston. They won against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. The year before, Houston won against the Knicks. Now it's Houston against Orlando. And during the regular season, Orlando beat the fuck out of them.
Mm-hmm.
They rubbed their nose in it for 2 games. The 2 games that Houston went off against Orlando, they beat the shit out of them. Orlando beat the shit out of Houston. So they were cocky. They're coming in. You remember fucking Shaq and Brian Shaw and then some other dude and Dennis Smith, I think. They went to Shaq's house and made a fucking record.
Yep.
Before winning.
Talking shit about how the year was already going and how they were in the finals and how it was going to end as a champion.
Before winning.
Never
Okay?
did that.
They did this before they played a game. They made this fucking track, right? We're going to come back to that. So they go, and it's game 1. And Penny and Shaq are going off. They're beating their ass. 4th quarter. Shit starts turning. Now, we're going to come to one of the biggest parts here. If Nick Anderson makes one of those free throws...
Sorry, Nick Anderson.
How big do you think Orlando beats Houston? Do you think they carry that momentum out of there?
What happened is he had 4 free throw opportunities back to back, mind you. He had 2, and he missed 1. All he needed to get was 1 to get a dominating lead on him. He missed 1. He's upset about it. Missed another. Dude, fucking shame on you. And then rebounds his own ball. Gets another foul.
Last miss.
And then has another opportunity to do it again. Oh shit, he missed the first free throw. He kind of laughs on it because holy shit, get my crap together.
It was like one of these last.
And like I said, me personally being in the finals, I sank all my free throws.
He's 100%.
Rodman all day.
He's the only person in the 100 club.
100 club. Hundreds. And then he misses the 4th one. What the fuck, dude? If he would have, I guarantee, if he would have made 1, that would have carried him on, because when he missed 2, they drained their energy right there. Oh shit, now what? And then they got some of that energy back when he got the foul off his rebound. I'm like, oh shit, now we can make it. Yeah. And then he misses 1, and then you saw everybody say, this motherfucker. And then happened again.
Well, it's like I say, one of the best feelings you can have is relief. So that when he missed that second free throw and then he caught his rebound, you saw how amped he was. And then he realized, I have to shoot 2 free throws again.
Yep.
He wasn't thinking, oh, okay, now we got possession, I could boom, boom, boom. No, he has to shoot 2 more free throws. And you see that change. And it was funny because he shots the 3rd one, and then comes the 4th one, Penny Hardaway, he's like this. He can't even fucking watch the free throw because he is just so...
He's constipated.
Yep, and then he looks back just to see the miss. So you think that they would have won the championship?
I think so, dude. I think so.
Because their energy just would have kept going.
It would have kept going. And I feel like even if he made both of them and then they came back with some sort of 3, they still would have had the energy, the mental energy to bring it back into pace, because they were riding on that high. And that was right when everything started just taking a shit.
I think as a young team, the biggest thing for them, because they were like the youngest team, not only like in every aspect, the team, the franchise was young, the team was young, I don't think the coach, I think that might have been like his first coaching job in the NBA, so there was just so much lacking in experience. You needed some experience for some of these moments. I don't think they would have won. I think they would have done better, and I think overall it would have been good for them to, it obviously would have been good for them to make it, but I mean for morale. Even if they lost, they would have been, he would have been able to hold his head high, and it wouldn't have been like this monkey hanging on his back this whole time.
Free throw, he's going to hear that for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
every time he goes to sleep.
At the end of the film, he says, I still hear that to this day. If Nick Anderson made those free throws, we would have won the championship.
Dude, that's so
he said that shit.
Dude, I'm just like, dude, I should wipe my ass better. And he's like, I should have made those free throws.
My wife is bitching about my draws.
This is bullshit.
Like, I lost the championship for a young Orlando who ended up losing Shaq and injuring Penny.
There goes a dynasty. Bye, dynasty.
Yeah. I don't think that they would have won. I think Houston would have ended up winning anyway.
It's the biggest what if, man.
It is a what if. But if you think about it, they lost that, but there were after that it was just all downhill. Yes, and that was a confidence taker for sure. But
and also, what if on their coach, if they had a better coach and not one that came from a used car salesman lot. Motherfucker looked like he just sold a car. Like, he didn't look very experienced, especially with young dudes like that and knowing how to control them. And
well, see, okay, so it comes up later, but he ended up riding them really hard, and it was so. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So you think that they would have won?
I do.
I don't think they would. I think they still would have lost, but I think they would have been able. I think it would have helped them in the end. Even during contract talks and shit.
Mature.
Because
Morality,
Nick wanted to have been... Because remember, right after that year, Nick Anderson, who missed the 4 free throws, he had a contract talk. And he was a free agent. And they made it so they paid him less, but they incentivized his contract so if he made free throws, 3 a game, that he would earn more money. And he wouldn't do it. There was a shot where he got a technical and he gave it to somebody else to shoot. Like, you don't do that. You know, that's confidence. You don't have confidence in yourself.
Dude.
You cannot play in the NBA and lack confidence like that. But, so anyway, what happens is they go on to lose after that. They just lose them all. They get swept. It's a big thing. They're sitting outside the arena for like 2 hours in the street on their bus with everybody.
Brooms on their fucking rig.
Boom, 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 boom.
Swept.
Banging it. Yeah. So they go back and... Beginning of the year. It's the next year. They're coming off of a finals loss where they're swept. But they got energy. They're young. They start the year. Bam. Shaq gets fucking hacked. His thumb's broken. He's out for however long. It's Penny's turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Penny starts going off. He doesn't have Shaq that he wants to pick. I mean, because obviously that's number 1 option. He doesn't have that anymore. He is the number 1 option. So he starts going hard. Little Penny commercial comes out and everything like that. Now,
money.
What do you think? And these are all what ifs. It's all speculation. This is what we do, talking shit. I love talking basketball. Now, what do you think would have happened? Do you think that their morale would have done better if Shaq never went out with an injury? Because they never would have had that time where Shaq's sitting on the sideline watching Penny go off, and everybody's loving Penny. Everyone's saying Penny and the Magic. You know, Penny and Penny.
Especially when Shaq came in and was wanting so much of the ball to begin with. That was his team. He thought it was his team. You know, was it Scott was the first round pick, and then Shaq was
Anderson was.
Oh.
Without in the beginning, the very first. He was very first.
I think, for sure if he didn't get hacked and he was actually in the season, I definitely think it would have helped big time, because for one, you have one of your biggest players out and you have another guy trying to step up, and then that just creates all sorts of controversy because you have this guy saying, well, is he better than me because he's getting all these deals, and then it starts bringing up questions in the team and breaking shit down, and that's when as soon as that back talk starts happening is when everything starts falling apart. If you can't brush that shit off and be a veteran about it,
and that's where
it just falls the fuck apart. I mean, shit happens for a reason, dude. And like he got hurt, and that all kind of split. But oh man, if he didn't get hurt, I don't know, because they probably went right back to the finals, I think. But it was stronger, like. They would have been a stronger team, and I think Penny could have got those deals on the side, and it wouldn't have been so impactful for Shaq because he was sitting there feeling like a big old dope, not doing nothing.
Yep.
Because now Penny's getting all the attention, and this is Shaq's team, so I think it would definitely would have helped.
Yeah.
But dude, you also got to be able to be like, man, good for him. That's good for him.
Yeah, but I feel like Shaq, anybody with that much skill. I mean, because that's a different level of skill.
Yeah.
That's supremely talented. That's not even. It's like not even talent. It's like a DNA thing. It's like you can't even obtain that. No matter how hard you work, you'll never be able to do that unless I think people that have that level of talent are always going to have that level of ego too.
Yeah.
And that's always going to hinder them.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, so he gets out and he's watching it, and his whole career, even his college career, maybe even high school, he's being, you're the shit, you're the shit, you're the shit, you're the shit, you're the shit. He sits out. And that was at the same time he ends up getting Penny got the Nike deal, and they were doing the Little Penny commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And so Penny was with Nike, Shaq was with Reebok, And for all I know, Penny was with Coke, and I know Shaq was with Pepsi. So maybe that was fucking one had a McDonald's deal, the other one had Taco. Who fucking knows? But there were so many little things.
It was like franchises battling each other. Well,
exactly. It's just like fucking. It's crazy. It's literally on every level other than being on a team. Literally being on a team, like we're both on Orlando Magic. Almost everything else
was opposite.
Nike, Reebok.
So it was only a matter of time before the team started splitting off too.
Well, that has to do with being young. And if you think about it, the way that what I took from their relationship is Penny was always willing to be submissive to Shaq, or at least passive. Like, okay, of course it's your team. Like, for sure it's your fucking team. He knew that, but I think Shaq couldn't allow it. You remember, so the Little Penny commercial, Shaq does a commercial where a fake Little Penny comes in and he reaches back on his chair and he knocks Little Penny over. Now, did Shaq need to do that? No, he didn't need to do that. That was his ego fucking with him.
Yep.
And whether he thought it was funny or whatever, yeah, I guess I would do that to a buddy or whatever. But if you think about it, you guys, it has to be thought of as a job first. The NBA, if you think of it as anything else, then that shit comes into play. Emotion, I'm the better guy, blah, 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 blah. So I think if he did, I gotta agree with you. If he didn't get hurt, the status quo of Shaq being the man would have just stayed, and Penny would have still been the second, and there never would have been that gap where Shaq had to sit back, wasn't able to play, and just saw how that happened.
And watch as his team really didn't need him.
Bro, yeah, that's because they was carrying him.
Yeah, but, I mean, dude, I thought it's fucked because that little knockoff, like, I've done worse to you. Remember the song? Like, dude. Oh, yeah. Dude, we're still friends. It's like, what the fuck, dude? I've done way worse than my friends. You can be upset about that.
And that's why I said friends, because they were NBA teammates together. Yeah. We're friends. This motherfucker. I had kidney stones. I had bad kidney. Everything real quick. I was laid up in my house with a fucking catheter, and in this song Throw Some D's on It just came out. They ripped the beat off the internet and they freestyled to it. This motherfucker had a high-pitched voice. He made like Super Squirrel, and he was talking about tubes out his dick and all this other shit. That was the most grimiest song ever. But
it was like to make him feel better, and I was
make me feel better.
That was a bad idea.
Hey, you got tubes in your dick. I heard it and I was like, that fucking cocksucker. I got my revenge, though. Maybe I'll tell you on the next episode. It was
bad, too.
I'll tell you on the next episode.
I was like, dude.
I thought we were friends.
I was playing.
Fucking dick.
That's not fair.
So
I'm not good with words.
Shaq comes back. They go through their little, Penny doesn't talk to Shaq for like a week or two after he knocks Lil Penny off the couch. They're back fighting the Bulls. Right? They're fighting the Bulls. Michael Jordan has had those 17 games, that playoff series, and the whole season to get ready. He's been 23. He's been tearing shit up. So,
and who do the Bulls get to replace Grant?
I think so. I think that's when he came in.
That's the year Rodman spent
where they got
all his practices having somebody. Remember, he spent his whole time doing rebounds.
Bro, he did that forever. He's been doing that for the longest times. From what he said.
That's nuts. He knew exactly how the ball was going to rebound just by the way it was shot at the hoop and where it bounced.
That was crazy shit.
That's fucking Tiger shit.
So they're going against the Bulls in the I think it's the conference finals. I'm pretty sure it's the conference finals. Now, if you know history, then you know that Michael Jordan didn't lose. So they lose, and that isn't the part I want to talk about. The Magic end up losing to the Bulls, and they get swept. Really quick, it's nasty, it's done, it's out, boom, they're done. And now, it's Shaq contract time. It's him for the contract. And so, just real quick, what happens is Shaq, they go into the contract negotiations. The Magic end up telling him, we'll give you 4 years at $80 million. And he's kind of mulling it over, and he tells his agent that, yes, he wants to stay with the Magic. But he ends up getting the the sports break or whatever shit. Yeah, there you go. The breaking news shit, and it turns out that Alonzo Mourning signed for $110 million to wherever the fuck, the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And so not only is it the same fucking position, he came out of the same draft, but he's playing in the same fucking state as him, Florida, because he's with Miami Heat.
Yep.
So
in my own
Shaq's
state.
like, fuck that. And so he has his agent go back and tell the Magic 150. So now...
fuck this. I want double almost.
He was like, I want fucking a gang of money. So now, do you think that asking price, the 150, do you think that Shaq and his agent thought that was a legitimate representation of what he was worth? Or do you think that was a ploy to try to get them to be like, well, we can't fuck with that, so they could have more of a conference, when they have the press conference, be like, well, we didn't meet each other in the salary negotiation, so we went with the Lakers. Do you think it was like a tool for negotiating, or do you think...
I think it was both, because I honestly think it was both, because for one, I know he was worth more. The guy was such a dominant force on the court, it didn't matter. I think he was worth what he ended up getting, but he ended up getting $120 million with the Lakers for 7 years, I think. And I think if they would have gave him $120 for 4 years with Orlando, that would have been right. I think that would have been right.
Well, I don't know if they were able to.
Yeah, I don't think they were able to either.
But they could have done.
They could have done something better.
7 years, one whatever the
and
same.
They were trying to do that
same
cap, the cap advantage. I think they were trying to hone in on that and try to keep Shaq's deal kind of low, just so they can keep salary capping and.
Well, they were thinking of Penny.
Yeah, and that too. But also, I think it was a move on both. I think once he saw that, he was like, "Fuck this." I think he already made up his mind and was like, "I'm out of here. Like, they're not gonna fucking pay me more money. If they do, then I still like fuck them. They're not gonna give me what I want." So I think he pretty much almost doubled it to give himself free reign of open market from all the other teams. Like, now you know what my price is because they're all gonna talk. Oh, Shaq wants $150 million. Like, well, we all can't do that, but we can get close, and everybody's gonna talk in the field, and then he's gonna get what he wants out of that. So I think that was a smart move, of course, but I think the deal he got wasn't good enough though. Like
the 120 for
7 years.
Yeah. Well, we got to think. We're thinking back then time. Now, if you think about it in these terms, the 110 that Alonzo Mourning got, that was the new top.
Yeah, but how many years though?
I think it was. They said 7. 7 was the max back then, so I think they said 7. So 7 years, 110, 111 million.
So then he did definitely.
So that was the new top. So for you to come back and go 40 million over the top, I think that was a way for him to both to the Magic, to let them know I don't want to be here. Like that's a stepping stone for me. Stepping away stone is that okay? You won't meet me here. This is what I think I'm worth. You don't think I'm 40 million more than Mourning? Of course I am. And I think it was definitely a negotiating tool because then he'd be able to tell that to other people. But really, I personally think that he didn't want to be there.
No, not
I think
after
he
that
knew.
blow. And what's great is when he talked to the Lakers and they offered him the $120 million for 7 years. The Magic came back with an offer, and the owners came up to Shaq's agent, and his agent was on the beach somewhere playing volleyball
for the
Get
Olympics.
out of here! What the fuck are you doing? I mean, yeah, you're with chicks, and that's great and all, but come on now, dude. You can do better than that. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well,
and he took their offer and was like, okay, that's great. Everything's here. And they're like, so what do you think? And he didn't. I don't think he even looked at it. And he was like, oh, it's all here. And then the owner was like, so it's over, isn't it?
The GM, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, it's over.
John Gabriel was like, thanks, Leonard. He walked out. But it's true. He knew it was done. I think Shaq I don't think he wanted to be there. I think he said he wanted to be there,
I don't think he wanted to be there from the fucking start.
Well, yes, from the start, but I think after a while, and he said it later on himself, and maybe it was the PR thing to say, but he said that he wished he never left.
Yeah.
And he did say that those were some of the best, he said those were the best years of his life. Because you think about it, new franchise, the talent's fucking gone ape shit for you. You're the shit there. You were already the shit, but you're coming. It's just crazy. But I honestly think that it was more of a tactic for him to feel good about leaving and for him to set a price point so people be like, well, can't do that because he ended up taking only $10 million more than Alonzo Mourning got.
Yeah.
And remember, 110 was a fucking gang.
Yeah.
So for him to go 150, it's like, bro, that's way, you know.
I'll take
120.
I'll
you know
take
what I mean?
110 right now for fucking 50 years.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that was more of a ploy for him to get out of there.
For sure. For damn sure. Now let me ask you a question. Prime years of Shaq, what do you think's better? The three with Magic or what he did the 3 with the Lakers? Now you can't include the championship, all game and all that shit just because they won the championship, but what do you think was a more prime Shaq?
That's fucked up. Because Shaq...
Because you had old experience.
The 4 years Shaq was with Orlando, he ran.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you couldn't believe. He still had that youngster spirit, whereas he was with the Lakers. Yeah, he still dove for the ball a little bit here and there, but he wasn't working like he was.
No, he ate too many chicken nuggets.
He wasn't working like he was with the... And maybe that was just because of his body, and as he grew, it changed, and then he didn't keep up with the amount of exercise he needed to do to maintain that youthful body. I don't know. But it was a difference. You saw at the end... Okay, so obviously Shaq ends up going and goes with the Lakers, and then Penny gets hurt, and it's just all downhill from there. Like
Anderson free throw fucked my knee up.
Yeah. Everybody's still blaming Anderson for fucking that free throw up.
Sorry, Anderson.
But yeah, even at the end, they show Shaq winning his first chip with Kobe, and you saw the difference in body.
Yep.
The difference was fucking spectacular. He looked like he ate another Shaquille O'Neal.
Dude, and
like he was literally that much.
A tank though, like.
Yeah, he was big. But I'm sorry, I really like the mobile Shaq.
Me too.
Because if you remember, he was already breaking fucking rims and shit before he was that big. I felt like he was like 100 pounds less than what he was with the Lakers, and he was bringing down the fucking house.
So what? Oh man, that would be such a sick game because you have Lakers Shaq is like, you know, is veterans, he's seasoned because he's been in the finals already, and he knows like what it takes to win. And then you have young Shaq. Those two, if you could clone them at those time periods and make them fucking face off,
man,
that would be fucking crazy.
So who would you choose?
Dude, young Shaq.
Young Shaq.
I do because you'd outmaneuver fucking bulldozer Shaq any day.
That's what I'm thinking. He was powerful. Obviously, he wasn't going to be as powerful as more mature, bulkier Shaq.
He was like super quick fucking Will Chamberlain.
Bro, he was like fucking... He had nice footwork. I remember seeing his footwork and just thinking, man,
quick as fuck.
That is quick feet for a big dude.
And you can't stop his dunks, man. He's so strong.
And they were just so powerful. Even just the little ones where he was like this, that rim would come up like, fucking like, it was like.
And then that one guy was like, Shaq, like, give it a good one, and then he goes and dunks on the fucking rim and breaks the backboard off and falls straight on his back.
Yeah, it was pre-draft.
Like, damn.
He was with Ahmad Rashad, and he fucking just breaks it, and he didn't even know it was going to happen. And it was funny because he broke like a couple more rims, but he broke one particularly, but that break had already happened, so he broke it again, and you could tell how anxious he was and how weary he was of falling on his back again, because he yanked it, and as soon as he felt like it come a little too low, he goes and like wiggles all weird to try to get his feet under him. Because he did not want to fall like that again. Like he busted his shit on fucking live TV, like boom. You saw how his big ass laid there for a while. He was like glass and shit all over him.
Dude, and then he fucking folded the one, and then there was that one game where what's his name scored 50 fucking points.
And that was the one I was talking about.
And nobody gave a shit.
Nobody gave a damn. You can't.
And that's the same one you're talking about.
And that was that one where he like was cautious when he pulled down the rim. He was like, "Oh fuck!"
He pulled that fucking hoop all apart. That thing was unusable. Totally unusable after that, and the whole place was like, "What the fuck do we do now?"
They were,
And then play half court.
They had to change the rules to you had to have a backup on standby every fucking game.
Thanks, Shaq.
Yeah. So after all this, the end result being, he went to the Lakers, won 3 chips, and then it's funny because then he ended up going to Miami like later on and won a chip too, like Miami, fucking Orlando's right there. He could wave to fucking
Guess what I won?
Fucking John Gabriel and Pat and all them, and you know what I'm saying?
That'd be like if there's another team
waving like this with his 4 rings. You guys. So
can you see me from over there?
Yeah, and he leaves. He wins. Penny doesn't last too much longer. He ends up keep getting injured. He ends up going to the Suns. Him and who was it? Not Mike Bibby. What's his name? I can't believe it. Jason Kidd. They were supposed to be the next shit in Phoenix.
Just because you went to the Suns doesn't mean your future's that bright.
You ain't. You fucking corny motherfucker. And so it all ended bad. It was a good thing that ended bad. So I got a couple questions, and I'm sure you got some questions too. So my question for you first off is, what do you think the biggest problem was with that whole situation? Was it the organization? Was it the players' egos? Literally, what do you think the biggest problem with that whole situation?
The biggest problem was I think it was the organization, honestly, because it's their job to guide the ego.
Yep, as best they can.
Yeah, every player and people, all of them have egos. If you are UFC, fucking baseball, whatever it is, especially UFC, everybody, or even, it doesn't matter what field, music, you have to believe you're the shit, because if you don't, you lose that drive. You lose that mentality of keep going, because you know that nobody else is out there like you, and they have to hear you, or you have to be seen, or anything. And so you have to act like you're the top dog at all times. So your job as a fucking franchise is to be able to guide that ego and take it places. And the fact they kept lowballing Shaq, because on his when they went back to his contract, when they handed it off to Shaq's agent when he was playing volleyball, they still lowballed him. It was
like 115 or something.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are you that serious? Like, you can't be doing that.
Dad,
what?
You get me some Raisin Bran cereal?
Yep, 2 minutes.
18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Forever.
That signifies the end of the podcast? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think definitely the franchise definitely fucked it, because they were a young franchise, but they should have guided that better. Yeah. And they I don't know, they should have seen that shit coming, because you know what to deal with when after it's done. But it's like, dude, you have this prime dude, another prime dude, they're gonna butt heads. I mean, what the fuck do you expect? Look at like Shaq and Kobe, they were both prime dudes.
Well, the thing is, though, they butted heads. I'll give you that. But Penny and him didn't really butt heads. Shaq was antagonizing him with the commercial shit, and you know what I mean. It felt like he was being really aloof with the whole free agency thing. So that's not how you want your free agent to make you feel, But I'm gonna have to agree with you. It was definitely the organization, because if you got to do something, you got to do. I mean, when you get a talent like that, you have to understand. Not only do you have to do head over heels, bend over backwards, fucking job, kiss the ring. You got to do everything. They should have brought in, and many that's what I keep thinking, is they should have brought in so many veterans. Anybody who was retired and a big name, been like, I'll give you fat money just to come and be an executive, be around the team, like talk to the young guys, like that's it, even if it's just a fake title, just like ambassador shit. Just
so what he got Nike, motherfucker? You break rims
for real. That's
Can
what
he break the rim?
Just,
no,
bro. Just be on your game. This is what you need to do. I feel like they should have brought in just more people that could have guided the franchise in the end, and they should have had more of a grasp on what it is to have a superstar like that. It's like they never even knew what a star he was. How do you lowball him? I think there were several offers back and forth that they went to, but one of them, after they heard Alonzo Mourning's, they said 115. Now, if I'm Shaq, I understand that the 110 jump is huge, but I'm pretty sure I'm 500. I'm like at least 10 million more than Alonzo fucking Mourning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at
and
least
plus
10
also the extra $5 million. Come on, dude.
Come on. You're trying to squeeze out $5 million, and I understand cap space and luxury tax and all that shit, but you have to understand, Shaq is a once in a fucking generation shit. Maybe once ever, because Wilt was that strong. Wilt was stronger, sure.
Yeah, but he wasn't as nimble
that's how I
quick
feel
on the feet like that. Like he was
more basketball. Wilt was an athlete to the max.
Dude,
Shaq was
unfair.
a basketball fucking, like, that's what he was made for.
Yep.
The power, the speed, everything. I think that if they would have been smarter and they would have got more people involved with their players and with their management to walk them through it and to tell them, hey, this is what we need to do. You cannot bullshit here. This guy's already, from the beginning, the agent, Shaq's agent, was trying to get him out of here. We have to be extra careful with this stuff. We got to be careful that if there's any other shit going on, for instance, Kawhi Leonard wasn't yet to the Clippers. The Clippers wanted Kawhi Leonard. One of the Clippers commentators said something about Kawhi Leonard. Now, they were courting Kawhi Leonard to get him to come to the Clippers. They immediately fired Bruce Bowen because he said a negative word about Kawhi Leonard. Right? Immediately, they fired him. And
get him out of here.
I'm sorry. And this is going to sound super, super lame, but with the way that people are nowadays, especially the younger generation, you have to show that kind of unwavering support. You have to be like, oh, he talks shit, oh, he's gone. Oh, yeah, no problem.
Nope.
You have to. Especially superstars nowadays, people with talent are already divas. People who get paid with further talent are the max diva. People who are once in a lifetime fucking talents, they're going to be diva. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to, you have to do whatever they want. You have to go above and beyond with the money. You have to go above and beyond with the support. You have to make sure you dead any bullshit. If a player's getting out of hand and talking shit about you, he's got to go. And you have to show them through action, not words, that you are the franchise cornerstone. You are what needs to be here. Like above anything else. We'll trade any other piece.
Yeah.
We'll trade any other piece just for you. All right, so we got rudely interrupted by a 4-year-old. So
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran. So we talked about, the last thing we talked about was we both thought that the Magic organization should have done better. Now, what questions do you got, son?
So the question I have for you, because we have a Lakers fan over here, what
before LeBron, motherfucker?
what do you think is a better team up for Shaq? Kobe or Penny? Because that's tough.
Okay, real quick, fuck him. Because he asked me differently. He said, who do you think was the better teammate? That's what he asked me out there when we had our thought. When we had our little, I went out there for real quick. And now he switched it and he asked that question. And that's fucked up.
He's a dick.
Because I don't ever want to choose anybody over Kobe. And not just because he rest in peace, he dead. Kobe has always been my favorite figure. Not even sports, just favorite. He like his fierce intensity and focus and passion.
Dude, he has my favorite dunk of all time.
Which one was that?
The one where it's mid-game when tosses the ball to him, he catches it, does the behind the back, and does the spin. That's my favorite dunk.
You mean when he was on the ground
yeah.
and then went like that?
Dude, that's my favorite dunk of all time because it's so fluid. It doesn't. He did not miss a fucking beat, and like it's like he saw it before it even happened. It's like, oh, I already knew that was gonna happen. Precognitive, right there.
Well,
precognitive.
Your fucking question. I think Penny was the better teammate.
Bring out the best.
Not teammate. I think Kobe was the better teammate. I think Penny was the better match for him because I think Kobe in his career, the kind of passes he made, they were on point with anything I've ever seen from anybody else.
Kobe needed to breathe as well as Shaq did. So like they kind of both stuffed their egos in a bag and worked together for that dynasty where Penny kind of knew, oh, I got to feed the big man, feed him, give him the ball.
Well, if we're just
and they would both feed off each other.
For the way I'm considering your question is like this, right? So in an actual team, you needed to fill two positions, who he would work better with, and it would be Penny because he's a facilitator, and by nature, I think Kobe Bryant is in every way better than Penny Hardaway. But
like, what if
the way he is as a teammate, the way he is in his mind, the way he is as a facilitator, the way he just is, his player mentality is to pass, is to kick it out. is to be a second. Kobe's isn't. So as the better matchup, who is the better? I think Penny Hardaway is the better matchup for Shaquille O'Neal. It's just it's nature. You know what I mean? You can't go against it. If you were to phrase it any other way, who's a better teammate? Kobe. If you were to choose Shaq and Penny or Shaq and Kobe over these two, it would always be Kobe.
Okay, wait.
But if you're talking about a 5-man team,
how many years was Kobe in the Lakers before Shaq was there?
I think he got traded as soon as Shaq got there. He got traded there.
So that was a fresh Kobe, right?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't even played yet.
He
came straight from the Charlotte Hornets, and straight out of high school. Yeah. Charlotte Hornets drafted him 13th. He got traded to the Lakers.
That's another question. Would you take a fresh Shaq and a fresh Kobe, or shit?
I just told you my answer. If you're talking a fresh Penny and a fresh Shaq, I'll take a fresh Shaq and a fresh Kobe any day. I'll take a dirty fresh Shaq and a dirty Kobe over fucking a fresh Penny and a fresh Shaq.
Dude, because that's such a... I guess Kobe didn't quite... I guess he kind of did have an ego, but not quite.
He had an incredible ego. If we're being... I mean, he did. He told them Shaq or me. You don't say that unless you have an ego. Let's be real. I love Kobe more than anything. Rest in peace. But yeah, he had an ego, and that's why I said, that's why the way you put it, as a teammate in a team, you know what I mean?
Never
as
ever get this motherfucker to admit a different person over Kobe.
Penny, man, because just the way his nature is, he's a passer, he's a facilitator.
He knew how to work with them.
Kobe's a scorer. He's a fucking assassin. He could have played any role, but that's his nature, is not to be secondary. So I think
he fucking ruled the League of Assassins for sure.
Bro, for sure. They actually made that game Assassin's Creed after him. They just had to change some shit.
Dude, man, and that dunk was so sick. I love Vince Carter. He's one of my favorite dunkers of all time, but dude,
he's the smallest, most powerful dunker.
Yeah, but mid-game, dude, it was so sick. I don't know why. That had to be... I don't think there's another dunk that's better than that, especially mid-game. How dare you?
So do you have any other questions?
Oh, let's see here. Do you think if they would have had Chris Webber instead of...
Oh, that's a good fucking question.
Instead of Penny.
This motherfucker.
And so that's part one, if they had a Chris Webber, and part two, if they would have had a different coach.
The coach got him to the fucking finals, and then he got him to the conference finals, and then before that, I think it was the conference finals or semifinals. So
you want to change the coach?
The coach. I mean, honestly, the coach did. Yes, if there was a better coach, sure, I'd take a better coach. But if we're saying
Phil Jackson,
exactly. If you want to give me a better coach, sure. But he didn't. I don't think he did a fucking bad job.
No.
He did what he was supposed to do. He was a good coach. That dude did his fucking job.
So
they went to the finals. You know how hard it is to take two fucking freshmen to the finals as your main, no matter how talented they are. That's hard, bro.
Dude.
And he took them there. That's crazy strong. That's crazy good. I think he's good. But for your other question, which was Webber over Penny, what do I think would have happened? Personally, I think so. This was coming off of the tail end of the big guy movement. You know what I mean? You had to have a big guy. Usually, too, they would run fucking Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn at the same time, or you know what I mean? Just shit, David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Fucking the whole lineup on the New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing, Mason Oakley, or Charles Oakley, and then Anthony Mason. Bro, the teams were built huge and different, right? So I think you could have got away with something like that, especially later years, though they couldn't foresee this. Later years where Shaq got slower, Chris Webber didn't really get that much slower, Shaq got masked.
But the ego side of it...
Well, of course not. But I think they could have ran something that was really interesting like that. But they didn't have a point guard. They had an undersized point guard in Scott Skiles. They needed to fill that role.
Yeah.
And John Gabriel said it in the documentary that one of the biggest things that organizations do wrong is they take big guys because they're there and they're good. They need to build for what they got. Yeah, they had a good advantage because they had the number 1 pick, and they took Chris Webber, the best player in the draft, and somebody else wanted him, so they fucking held him for ransom. Sure. But I think they could have done something really interesting with that because they had bigger players together. They would run at the same time. They had, like I said, Tim Duncan and David Robinson. That was a pretty big duo.
Yeah, and then they got Grant later. Like
who?
When they got Grant to come in later from the Bulls.
Oh, Horace Grant for the but see. That's the thing, though. I don't think they would have made that move because that would have been a clog. That would have been nuts. But it would have been cool to have Weber, and then like maybe 2 years down the road get Penny. Well, I mean, yeah, but if we're just, hypothetically, but if you had to choose, like just saying, how do you think they would have had the same amount of success with Chris Webber as they did with Penny?
Fuck no. No, because Penny fed it to Shaq. He knew how to read his player. He knew how to feed him what he needed. And then when Shaq was binded up, he fucking gave it away to Penny. They worked they worked together super well. Where Weber, it would have been that fucking Nike Reebok deal all over again. It was like, oh, this motherfucker do this. Oh, he's doing that. It would
have been like the whole time because they're all in the paint. Both of them are in the paint.
It would have been a fucking constant battle. Now, if they were to work together, and that whole thing wasn't a big deal, I think they would have fucking dominated. I think that would have been scary as fuck because then you have it's just two guys versus everybody.
They're huge, powerful, athletic, quick guys.
Mm-hmm.
At probably the quickest center and the quickest, strongest center and the quickest, strongest power forward in the game at the time.
I think they would have dominated.
They would have done some crazy shit, but they were lacking at the point guard position. Brian Shaw, I think, was a point guard.
Shaw.
So he could have ran it, but I mean, if you're talking about, and that's why I said Penny over Kobe, is because if you're talking about positions, you got to think about your best player. Your best player, Shaq, in this situation. You got to think about what's best for your best player. Now, is it a two guard who likes to shoot? No matter how amazing, or is it a tall ass point guard who likes to fucking pass? I mean, it's a no brainer. I love Kobe more than anything, man.
Pass that ass.
But Penny, man, that's why. And also because of the whole psychological thing behind it. By his nature, he's a second, and he's cool with that. He just wants to play basketball, and he knows Shaq's the one. So
he knew it.
He knew it. But yeah, man, I'm excited to put this podcast up. This is our first one. I hope it went well. I was high. He doesn't do drugs.
I just do heroin.
I work for myself here. So if you're in the Vancouver, Washington area, Portland area, you need studio time or music videos or anything, check my channel. I have them up. Hit me up if you want to see my latest music videos. The artists don't have them out yet, but I have them out privately. So if you want to see them, hit me up.
Click this link right here. There's no link.
I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to make sure it's put right where my hands are. Did you want to plug anything? The album? Anything like that?
Oh,
Hang
sure.
Fire?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you can check out my album I have. It's called Hang Fire, and the album's called Kamikaze. We spelled it wrong on purpose.
On purpose?
I keep getting shit about that.
That was on purpose, all right?
So, yeah, you can check that out. It's on Spotify, YouTube.
I do that shit all
Google
the time
Play.
to make it easier to find my music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good
Spotify.
one. Yeah, Spotify, everywhere. Yeah. The next one, what are we going to do?
Dude, I want to do the Pistons.
Bad Boys?
Pistons.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
I love the shit talking.
All right. The next one is going to be the Pistons. And then we have one more episode, which we have not decided what it's going to be about. But it will be basketball related, and it will be a documentary.
Dude, it should be Magic Celtics and fucking Lakers.
I have those ones too. Be sure to check us out. This is Shredder Vision on YouTube and Vallejo Pacific Northwest, Vallejo PNW on YouTube also. ING, Vallejo PNW, Facebook. Hit us up. Let us know. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Peace!